Now that we're getting into early spring, it's time to finish up the pruning job on the black raspberries that we started in early last summer. Now, if you remember, right after harvest last summer, we pruned out all of the old canes, the fruiting canes, and the new canes that were growing up at that point in time, we clipped them back at about 2.5 feet, which to make them branch out with side lateral branches to keep them more compact. And that's exactly what's happened. Now what we need to do is come in and prune back these side laterals back to about 12 to 18 inches long. What this does, number one, it keeps them from being quite so rangy and spreading all over the place. The other thing that it does is it thins down the crop some. Each one of these buds on these lateral branches will send out a shoot that will have flowers and leaves and eventually fruit on it. By restricting the number of those buds that are left, we can reduce the total crop load. Just like thinning apples and peaches, the fruit that remains will get larger and sweeter and better quality. By leaving fewer of these lateral buds, we get fewer fruits, better quality from what's left. So what we're doing, first thing to check for on these laterals is to make sure that they're alive. If you look at the bark, on this one particularly, you can tell it's dead because it's quite brown. If you're in doubt, just scrape a little bit of the bark back. This is very much dried, very brownish looking. We know that lateral is basically dead, so we can just prune that right out and get rid of it. This one here, you can tell it's a much glossier, much healthier looking. If we scrape the bark back on that, it's very green and still looks quite healthy. That one we know is still good. We're going to come out about 12 inches and prune it just above a bud. And we're going to do that on all these laterals. It's a good idea to make sure you wear gloves. I can vouch for certain that these are not thornless. Make certain you get all of the laterals pruned back. And once we get all those pruned out, here's a real weak cane. We're just going to prune that right out because it's going to be too low. The fruit on that's going to be down on the ground. We don't want that. Another long cane. Okay. Now what you see, what we have left, these erect stems and the side branches, nice sturdy plant, sturdy base for fruit production. Now, another thing that you can be doing on black raspberries, over there, some of those laterals had come down, touched the ground and rooted. This is a new variety that we just planted last year. This is Loden black raspberry. The nursery plants were quite small and only 2 of them survived. I took one of the laterals, stuck it in the ground last fall, and it has rooted and it's starting to show, as you can see, it's got sprouts coming up. We can cut this back, and I'm going to transplant this further down the row, and this way you can propagate new plants of the black raspberries, as many as you would like. Well, I'm going to finish up pruning down there, and we're certainly glad you could join us today, and we'll see you again next week.